I gotta wait. How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
Welcome to the shed, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
I'm Dreme, a black woman with many beautiful interconnecting identities. A few I will name at this moment as we get started on this podcast journey together. A Bostonian, born and raised in the inner city, Dorchester and Roxbury neighborhoods, to a teenage single mother who has my whole heart. An educator, I've been working with youth and children since my teenage years, and formally, I have been teaching almost a decade now. That's wild to think about. An entrepreneur, I am the founder of The Chair, a black and brown centered tech platform dedicated to supporting people on their hair journey, where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a more joyous experience. I have a workable site, my prototype. It took me 2 years to build, and now I'm on this adventure that you're currently on with me. My goal for this podcast is to share stories, black stories, educator stories, entrepreneurship stories, and hair stories. I want you to leave each episode with the opportunity to gain new insight, just a glimpse into my world or the worlds that are featured on my podcasts, a little chuckle during your day or night, possibly a little anger to encourage you to advocate for justice, and hope to continue learning and dreaming. So come in and listen to the beautiful voices in the chair as they share their stories, starting with me.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Sakina and Suhaila. Can you please introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah. So I'm Sakina. I recently graduated high school with my twin here. And next year I'm going to be going to Tufts. Interested in pursuing public health. We'll see where that takes me. I'm here for Miss Flint. She's my old teacher. And I'm just super excited to be on here.
Yep, and I'm Suhaila. I was born first, the older twin. Just put that out there. And I'll be studying civil and environmental engineering at MIT this coming semester. Super cool to be talking to Miss Flint again.
When you got to high school, how did you feel like your high school experience went as black girls?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of quickly found like a few other friends. You know, also black girls, shared our experiences. Also
Black twins.
Yeah. We met these like identical twins from Georgia.
So they really knew. They really knew how it is.
Yeah, and they made us feel at home. We made our own little comfortable space on campus. So that was kind of our safe haven. And we were really lucky to have found each other through Zoom and whatever. Because that was hard. Like, you had no idea who was in your classes. But we would just talk about the craziest people that we would come by at school. There was one kid who's 6'6" and would not shut his mouth about whatever he wanted to talk about. We all had stories to tell, and that really made me feel at home because, you know, I was learning how to, I guess, put up with some things, but also it wasn't taking away from who I was or my confidence I had built already. Even though we were few in numbers, it still felt like we were the most important at school. Because, you know, we made that space and we would hype each other up because of that. You know, classes were a different story, especially for us. I mean, for me, like when we were taking higher level classes, we only had one friend who was really taking them with us. She's also black. She's going to Howard next year. It was just us really taking those high level classes, and then all the rest of these kids definitely showed that they came from different backgrounds and different learning experiences. A lot more entitled people, a lot of people who were like, oh, I'm not going to take notes. I'm pretty sure some of those kids had, you know, other help. But for us, we made sure to study together and make sure we were all doing well. And I would say that we figured out how to uplift and support each other.
Didn't you make a curly hair group?
Yeah, it was going strong for the first year. I think it was more of a conversation that needed to be had for everyone, you know, to talk about their hair journey. And so they've done events like using wax instead of like dyeing your hair. And you can still participate in the school events because we have a pep rally where people would have blue face paint and dye their hair blue. Instead of doing that, you could use the wax instead so it would come out easier. And then that just like everyone in the whole school was like, yo, that's such a smart idea. Let's do that. So they made their impact that way. And sometimes they do presentations on like, oh, what is hair porosity? Stuff like that. Yeah. And then they would have raffles because they would try to get fundraising from the school, grants from the school to have curly hair products. They'd raffle them because we were in Andover, which is the middle of nowhere, Massachusetts, and you can't find hair products there. So they brought in some, raffled off to people. That was a big event. But also on here, not just as Black high school students, but also like being in a boarding school, living with other kids. That was a lot. And for us, we definitely had the friends that we made. We lived with them for a time. And there's a lot of controversy at the school. People would say, oh, most of the Black and brown kids seem to be in this dorm. Then like the least renovated dorms, the newly renovated dorms, those have the white kids and the East Asian kids. Why is that? Oh, you shouldn't intentionally like put people together just because of their race. And there's been a lot of like controversy in how the school should handle housing because it's an integral part of your experience. But for me, it's important to not feel like you're completely isolated. It's important to have a familiar face, someone who knows your background, who knows how life is, and shares your experiences. So for me, it was closest friends I made were not because of, but our friendship is strengthened because we live together. Yeah, they could be a little more intentional about where they put us. Maybe not in the furthest section of campus. That would be good. Put us a little closer to campus. But because we had discussions like in the dorm, some of the kids would say, the white kids in the dorm halls, because we share showers and everything, they're like, I saw animal hair in the shower. And they were talking about Black hair and making those comments very disrespectful, demeaning, and just ignorant comments. So there was a lot of that you had to deal with living with kids from all the different spaces at a PWI. Adding on to that, I remember, because we were prefects and we would like watch the younger kids and underclassmen dorms. And one point I had to talk to my kids about, because they were complaining about someone leaving their ringlets of hair around. They're like small little pieces of hair that weren't, like they're hard to pick up all of them. But putting it in perspective, you do really, like I walk into that bathroom and there's a bunch of like straight hair all over the floor and in the showers. And one time I accidentally pulled it out from the drain and ended up pulling out a whole like hair blob or whatever. But it was a terrible experience. But I heard no complaints about that type of stuff. About the straight hair? Yes. Just the curly. Yeah, I was like, you have to understand that one, everyone needs to be clean up after themselves, and a few select people are the main problem, leaving their hair all over the place, and it's not people with curly hair. And I've never thought that it would be so hard for some people. Like, I've never personally seen people, I guess, have a lapse in bias and not pick up on it, but at that moment, it was like, wow, I mean, it does happen. And for them, I mean, they kind of understood. But having conversations like that, where it's like, it just puts in perspective how uncomfortable some people are.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Look, it's my commercial. We will be right back.
It's more than just a bad hair day. It's a journey. Finding the right hairstyle isn't easy, nor is finding the right stylist or the right products. Looking in every corner of the web gets messy, overwhelming, and exhausting. All the ads, the articles, the products, the videos, it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And now, it isn't. The chair. A black and brown centered platform where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a new joyful path on your hair journey. Avoid the clutter, save yourself hours, months, and even years of research and poor trial and error. Everything you need in only What you need is in one place. Hairboards made by people like you, for you. Find the right products, the right people, the right answers for you, stress-free. Join the chair community and make every day a great hair day. When you share your pain, you allow others to help you. And when you share your success, you help others get theirs. Lean on the chair. We got you. No stress, no strife. In the chair. The chair. The chair. All right.
One thing I've been saying for me as an educator that is really important for me is that kids recognize that I love them. My students recognize that I love them. My students recognize that who they are, their identity is important. And then the third thing is that I strive to make many activists, however they see themselves see fit. Do you feel like you have become more active when you moved to Andover for high school? Did you see yourself as an activist at all?
I would say we've definitely done a lot of work. Yeah. Going to a private school, there's a lot of different stuff to get involved in. But for us, me personally, I got involved in the BSU, Black Student Union. We actually started, I was on the first board of the BSU because we had an African and Latino American society, but we didn't have our own space for Black students. So I was on the first board of that, figuring out how to really build that space up, which was a lot of work because we didn't have anything really to build off and to like really make it a space that people needed, because the whole Black community, students and faculty, got together and we were like, we need the space. And then the task is, how do you make it and what does it need? And so dealing with that, and then also climate work. Actually, the summer before ninth grade, I got involved with their climate organization at the school. They had like a climate club. They call it a coalition because it's a bunch of different clubs working together. But I've been lobbying for climate policy actually at the MA, like Massachusetts State House, and getting involved or just like being aware of like local government in that way and understanding that and the change that can be made there. So I've done a lot of activism, like using my voice, I would say. And it's been a lot of important work that I hope to continue, whether it's definitely still with, climate work and identity work in college. Like, hope to continue that in college for sure.
Yeah, your holistic teaching style definitely rings true for me as well. I spoke about joining the Intersectional Feminist Club. When I joined, we had a lot of work to do, moving away from whiteness. I was a little shocked. I was like, guys, there's a whole, group of women who are doing incredible things, and it's not the white people. And I brought up Kimberly Crenshaw, and then brought in Bell Hooks, and we had these talks and ideas, and definitely when I was, rising up in the ranks, I was more intentional about who we picked to be a part of our board. And now it's almost complete black, complete black board, a bunch of different gender identities. I'm just super amazed at how things have shifted just by exposing people to pieces of literature and activists. One that you introduced me to, and then I started learning on my own. I remember we also had to be, at the end of the year, I think last year, I fought to bring in Portia Aliwaya, who you brought us to one of her Afro Futures theaters. And I was like, this would be an amazing person to have at school. And you helped me get in contact with Portia. And now, like our CAMD office wants her to come back. For me, it was passing on that knowledge that you had given us to these other kids, making spaces for them at school where they're still struggling to get Black teachers and Black educators. I think we have 4 Black women teachers on campus. And we just got a new director of our Community and Multicultural Development Office. That's what we call CAMD. Then that's the epicenter where people of different culture and background go to express themselves. For me, it was a big part was just passing on those teachings and making sure that other kids, get that kind of insight too. Mm-hmm. And so I definitely would say, I've carried that with me, and I'm going to keep doing it because it's just who I am now. I bring my identity into whatever I'm doing, so people know, whatever spaces, it's an important part of me to make sure I feel seen and that other people who look like me can feel seen.
That's beautiful. Oh, and if you're interested to learn more about my experiences as a Black woman and educator in Guangzhou, China, I wrote my first ebook titled Nowhere and Everywhere, Captured Emotions of a Beautifully Broken Love Story. It is on lulu.com. Take a read and see some beautiful photography of mine. Enjoy the rest of the show. Last question. What would your advice be for new educators who are teaching kids who look like you, who may not look like you? Okay, you're starting to teach. This is the beginning of your career.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think they should know to be the best educator they can?
I would say what I had valued most from your teaching was the conversations that we had outside of the classroom. The laughs that we shared, the stories that you shared with us, and you just listening, that made me feel like more than a student. And the teachers that I had the most beneficial time with, the people I appreciated and felt most comfortable with at Andover moving on, were the teachers who asked me, how was your day? I heard about your sports team. How are you doing? How's practice? What are you looking forward to in the next game? And, having those conversations made me more comfortable to ask questions in class and do extra work, try my hardest and be okay with failing because I knew it was going to be okay and I can, reach out to my teachers there. And one of the teachers he was a white male teacher, but I had the best conversations with him. And he would always just, say hi or chat with you outside of class. And so for me, it's really important just to show kids that you're not comfortable with opening up to kids like that. It's perfectly fine, but it does go a long way having some conversations. I definitely can tell when a teacher wants to talk to me or wants, to see me succeed. Mm-hmm. I can tell the difference. And I think it starts with, seeing us as more than just kids who sit down in your classroom.
No matter the student, really, you just want to be seen as a person. And for students, it's like learning that your teachers are people too. People say that all the time. And then for teachers, it's like knowing your students are people. And when you make those connections, oh, how was your day? Or be vulnerable and share your story. Definitely for low-income kids, for first-generation kids, that's harder because there's a lot more that you have to tell. And it's also risky, legally, financially, to tell your story. But for teachers to make the first step, like if you can make a first step with your student in sharing your hopes and dreams, like as a student, the mistakes that you made when you were in high school, those make the conversations, feel safer, that you can share your story as well. And I think that goes with any person, really.
That's such good advice. Well, Sakina and Suhaila, thank you so much for sharing your stories in the chair. I truly appreciate it.
Thanks, Ms. Flint.
Yeah, thank you for everything, Ms. Flint.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Chair. I, of course, would love your continued support. Let me know what you think of this episode by doing all the things. Subscribe, comment, and come back next week, every week. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. Or if you are like me, enjoy that moonlight and that one star under all your city lights. Love you. Talk to you later.
The chair.
How long I gotta wait for a person to record?
Go.
We support her. Shit.
Do your...
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dreme always has a story. Where we we share.